And now we have to hear people online, I'm sure, going, oh, well, this was a third-party thing for the most part. You have to wait. Trust me, I have rumors that they, in 3 months, will be getting more of a first-party showcase. And maybe we will. But these guys are nuts, man. Sony, listen. They're doing a dumb, terrible job when it comes to hyping the audience up. You are. I don't care. You hate PlayStation, Jaffe. You're just salty. I'm not salty. So we just watched it. It opened with Monster Hunter Wilds. I would say, I played the beta Monster Hunter Wilds. I thought that was great for what it was, but I've just never made the time to really engage enough with the game to care. But my guess is that if you love Monster Hunter in general, you're going to love Wilds. So they open with that, whatever, not much to say on that. If you want to play the beta, by the way, it's out right now on PlayStation. Then they moved over to Shinobi 2D, which is the thing coming from Sega. The guys who did Streets of Rage 4 did this. I think this looks, it's Shinobi. That's cool. There's some neat little stylistic moments. You can ride the hoverboard. There's something you're about to see where they do a weird kind of split screen and you're fighting in the middle of the split screen. So like that, I don't know if that's a special move or they actually are letting you fight on that. Overall, though, I like this kind of game. I like the developer. I like the legacy of the brand, so I'll play it. But there's nothing about this that made me go, oh my God, that's amazing. Right? It's just like, okay, looks like a cool, fun indie game on Steam and, cool, coming out in August. Then they moved on to Sonic Racing. This was the first game that made me perk up my ears. I don't know who the developer of this is. Sumo usually does the Sonic Racing games, and they are usually excellent. And so this one looks like it's going to give us that back. You've got cars, you've got hoverboards, you can transform into flying, waterboards, and then it looks like they're doing, at least from the trailer, something with the SSD where you're able to sort of warp into new locations almost instantly that you'll see right here. Like, do you want to go right? Do you want to go left? Does he change the track for everyone, just for you? I don't know. But I'm into this. I'm excited for this. If anybody watching right now knows who developed this, please let me know, because I want to say Sumo's kind of, I don't know if they're working on other people's IP anymore. There's been some real change there recently, but I think it's a great trailer. And you know what? I worked with the guy who's the president of Sega now. He was excellent. He was a PlayStation consultant. What was the guy's name? Shuji. Wonderful executive, wonderful game executive. He is now running Sega. And I will tell you that I think people's excitement for Sega that we're starting to see, not just in the movies, but in the games, is probably at least meaningfully because he is now there running the show, which is excellent. So I don't know who's doing this one, but I'm excited for it. We'll see what happens. Sonic Team, it just says. Okay. Then we moved on to Digimon. Whatever. I'm not a fucking 4-year-old. I don't give a fuck about Digimon. I know people like it. Like I said to the chat that we're saying, no, the Digimon games are usually good. That's great. I can barely make I haven't even made the time to play Persona or Metaphor Refantasio. So I'm certainly not going to be playing an RPG like this that is not even top of the pop. So, whatever. But if you're into that, great. Then they showed this thing, Lost Soul Aside. And it's weird because there are some other games coming up in the state of play that I like that you'd say, well, why was this one different, Jaffe? Like they showed Liza P DLC. And even if it wasn't Liza P, which had the pedigree, it just looks more interesting. Maybe it's the enemy design, maybe it's the moves, but this just looks like generic. I've seen this, I've played this so many goddamn fucking times that this did absolutely nothing for me. By the way, right now, I'll let you know where the poll is. Right now, we are sitting at a C. 39% of you think it was a C show. 29% think it was a D show. 21% think it was a B. 10% think it was an A. We'll see where that ends up at the end. Okay, so that's Lost Soul Aside, coming out in May. I have no interest in this at all. I'm very excited that Like a Dragon demo is coming out the 21st, which is this week. The pirate Hawaii fucking thing looks batshit. Can't wait for this. And also, Dave the Diver, one of my favorite games the last 10 years, is getting what looks to be really cool DLC with this goddamn guy. What's his name? Ichiban or something. That's pretty cool. And it's not just Dave the Diver content, but it looks like there's Streets of Rage and shit like that. So I'm excited for that. That's really good. Then they showed Splitgate 2, which I played once or twice. I thought it was fun. There's a beta coming this month. I'll try it. It's 3v3v3. Which I think is always fun when you can do that. So, it's basically Portal with guns. If you didn't play the first one, you should. It plays better than it has any right to, and this one looks pretty good as well. So, then they showed WWE 2K, The Island. Now, this is interesting to me because I like these games. I'll be picking up this game. But he's going in about the island, which looks like you and 50 other people. It's like PlayStation Home, but it's the WWE universe in terms of like the way it's decked out, that you can customize your character. It looks like you can have like exhibition matches. I don't know all the stuff you're going to get to do in this social hub, but I love the brand and I love stuff like this if it's cool. So I'm looking forward to hearing more about this, but they didn't reveal too much. He did say something that made me wonder. He's like, it's not just the new game, it's the future of the WWE interactive brand or something like that, which makes me wonder, are they just going to kind of like what Fortnite is doing with Disney? Are they going to keep building this out over time and pretty much make like a WWE virtual universe, which would be fucking awesome, man. Fucking awesome. Okay, then we moved on to, and look, I wouldn't say I'm a friend of the guy because I don't spend much time with him. But did you know, by the way, I read an article yesterday. There's a study done that said how many hours you need to spend with someone in physical proximity before you consider them an acquaintance, a friend, and a close friend. And I think they said a close friend you have to spend like 200 hours with. But regardless, Randy Pitchford, I've barely spent more than 20 minutes in real life with, but I've always liked him. Seems like a nice guy. I thought this little thing he did with this other Randy was super stupid and cringe and embarrassing, but so what? I do embarrassing stuff every day, twice a day, 5 days a week here on the show. Borderlands, your mileage will vary. You do with it what you want. I've never really kind of lost my shit with it, but I know a lot of people love it. So, that's coming out soon. Split Fiction. And by the way, I'll tell you in just 1 second, Keely's got a similar poll running about what people thought of the show. I'll tell you in a second where his numbers are. I think this looks cool. I loved It Takes Two. I like what they've shown here. I didn't care for this trailer too much, but I'll be playing this day one when it comes out next month. I think I love their game, so I'm there. But as a trailer goes, this looked pretty generic. Not in terms of what you're doing, but just kind of the tone. It's like, been there, done that, whatever. Then they showed a new game from the Dark Pictures anthology, which is great. I love their games. I will play this. Absolutely terrible trailer. All this is like The Thing in space is what it looks like. But they were presenting a trailer as if what they were showing every couple of shots was like, we were supposed to go, whoa. And it was just like, okay, I've seen, this is just nothing but trope sci-fi, at least in the trailer. So the trailer did nothing for me, but the pedigree of the team is enough to have me interested. Then I literally wanted to jump out of a window because it's another fucking Five Nights at Freddy's game. I don't give a fuck about that. They can go fuck themselves. I'm not saying those are bad games at all. They've never appealed to me. I don't get the big deal. I know they're for kids, so let's move on with our goddamn lives. Then they showed this, which was creepy as fuck. I don't know why, but this made me very uncomfortable. Watch this.
Thank you for being a valued member
Watch these two guys. Watch these two guys.
Greetings from Moonhood.
We're the creators of the Midnight Walk.
Now, there's two things that are coming up. This guy's going to do something very strange with his little puppet, and then this guy's going to just freeze, almost like Mitch McConnell when he's giving a press conference. Watch this.
Cozy horror game created entirely in clay, where you will journey down a nightmarish highway riddled with terrors that want to devour you and your little lantern creature. Oh boy.
Together with your little friend, you must outsmart
Now watch, he's
these
about to
terrors
freeze.
and
He's about
bring
to
back
freeze.
fire to this mad world we've handcrafted for you.
So please enjoy this short gameplay preview.
He's just not moving. It's like he died. Anyway, I don't know what the game is. It looks like some kind, you got to be careful with games like this because remember Scorn on Xbox? It looked amazing, but it ended up being the most boring game you could play. This could be that or not, but visually, of course, it looks delightful. It looks excellent. It's an incredibly cool looking game. I'll have to wait and see how it actually plays. But the visuals for the Midnight Walk continue to impress. I am interested. Now, next was Darwin's Paradox, a game from Konami where you play, an octopus that can do octopus things. Maybe it'll be great. I don't fucking know. It's kind of looks like a cross between Oddworld and that submarine game that Insomniac did a couple years back. So, JJD says, be happy for things, Jaffe. Midnight Walk looks cool. I'm not happy for things. I literally just said that it looked really good, and if it plays as good as it looked, I'm interested. But I've been around the block. It ain't my first rodeo. And in that not being my first rodeo, I can tell you I've seen game after game after game that have a brilliant art style that after 20 minutes that wears off and you're left with generic slop. So I think what I'll do is be patient and allow my experience to marinate over my experience today and use that to determine when the happy buttons get pressed. Thank you very much. Now, Rogue Warriors is out today. That was their big shadow drop, I guess. This is coming from Koei Tecmo. It is interesting. I get very bored by the big Koei games. I always forget the Misu games or whatever, right? I like them, but I get bored. I played Hyrule Warriors for the most, but even that got me bored. But the idea of putting a rogue element into this, where there is this nice big meta over it, that could be really, really interesting. So it's out today, depending on what they want to charge for it. Maybe there's a demo. I'll look into it. Then they showed us Onimusha 2 that will be out later this year, the remaster. I loved the first Onimusha 2. I'm excited for the remake. I love this series. They showed us Onimusha Way of the Sword, which is the new one coming out in 2026. I thought it looked fine. Nothing special. I mean, it's Onimusha, so I'm excited. But if this was not called Onimusha, I would just go, meh, okay. It looks fine. It looks a little goofier than Onimusha usually in terms of the character, in terms of his points and things like that. I don't know if Miyamoto Musashi is a famous actor. They do that on a lot of the Onimushas. They get a real actor that's famous, usually in Japan, but sometimes France, like Jean Reno. Maybe that's a big dude. I couldn't tell you. It looks fine. Then they showed Metal Gear Solid Delta. We know that's coming out in August. I'm excited for this game, but we've seen this trailer before. Do with it what you will. It looks great. Looks like Kojima. Now, speaking of Kojima, then they showed this trailer. And I don't know if I've ever seen a trailer for this game, but at first we were all like, is this a Kojima game? It's not. It's called Hell Is Us, and it looks really cool. This looks like what I wish Kojima would do these days, which is be weird and quirky and strange, but also make a commercial title, which I haven't experienced from him in Death Stranding. And so this actually feels like Kojima caring if his games sell or not, but it still has the weird Kojima shit. So I'm excited for this one. I don't know who the developer is. I don't know, if they've got the chops to pull this off or it's just a great trailer, but this so far, really neat IP. It almost looks like what I thought Death Stranding was going to be in terms of gameplay. Yeah, it has Death Stranding vibes, says JJD. And there's Mark Zuckerberg, I guess. So, that looks totally right out of Snake Eater with the dead people and shit in the swamp. So I'm interested in this. This is called Hell Is Us. Comes out, I think, this year. Is it Rogue Factor? Nacon? I don't know who the fuck these people are. When's it coming? Let's see. September of this year. Okay. Then they showed us some Lies of P DLC, which I'm excited for. Makes me need to go back and finish the first Lies of P, of course. But this is where the show started to pick up with Hell Is Us and then this. Because unlike that Lost Eden game or Lost Soul Aside game or whatever it was called, one could say, well, Jaffe, how is this that different from that? And my answer is, I don't really know. except maybe it's the character designs, maybe it's the combat, maybe it's the monsters. Like you're about to see this big ball and chain cement guy. The environment location looks different. This thing looks weird. So it's got a very similar kind of Souls gameplay, but there seems to be a real interesting imagination at work in the Lies of P universe compared to what we were looking at earlier in Lost Soul Aside. So, and also it has the benefit of being DLC for one of the great games that came out that year. So this I'm excited about, and this is where the show started to pick up the pace. Then we got then we got Pixel Junk's new game, Dreams of Another, which I don't know if I'm going to like it or hate it, but I know it looks fucking cool as shit, and it seems like it's got a neat vision, and it's like an arty-farty reverse shooter thing. It definitely seems like an individual singular vision. It's got a neat look. I'm interested. I'm super fucking interested in giving this a shot. I don't know what it is, but you have my attention. Lost Souls was made by a solo dev, says a cab. Well, then it should be more creative. It may not need to be as polished, but you would imagine if it's one person that has no limits on people saying yes or no, they would fucking blow their fucking wad and give you their dreams. And instead, it's just like generic stuff. Jonas says, this looks garbo. What do you mean this looks garbo? Dreams of Another. It looks cool. Shut up. Now, Days Gone Remaster. They announced next. I really liked Days Gone. I never finished it. It was a little too long for me. It'll only cost you $10 if you already own the version of it. I will be picking this up. I will be playing it again. Thought it was a great game. It went too long. The golf cart scene needs to go fuck itself. I hope there's an option to remove it. But great game. I'm thrilled they're remastering it. I don't really understand why they're remastering it, because this is a game they didn't want to make a sequel to, so why in the fuck are they going to remaster it if they don't want to keep it moving? Maybe they're going to make a movie out of it. I don't fucking know. The point is, I'm a fan. I'm looking forward to that. Then they showed Stellar Blade DLC, which, I got a little confused because on one hand they talked about new costumes and a photo mode. I don't know if this also includes new levels, but I will finally be getting it when it drops on PC in June, and I'll be playing it. So they got some DLC coming like that. So that's pretty good. There's no Bloodborne, though. We saw no God of War. We'll talk about that in a minute. They showed Lost Records is coming, which is great, to the game catalog, PS Plus, Bloom and Rage. I'm looking forward to that. I like games like that from the guys that made Episode 1, from the guys that made Life is Strange. Then they showed Blueprints, and this is great. There were 2 games coming to PlayStation Plus day one. I'm not saying they're becoming Game Pass, but this is the shit that these guys need to be doing if they want to compete with Game Pass, and maybe they don't. Maybe they don't care. But the point is, I'm glad this is coming. It's not day one, but it's very recently released. It's coming this week, next week. And then this game has been making the rounds at a bunch of shows, and every journalist that's played it has said this game is really fucking weird and cool. This is Blueprints, and this is coming day one. And I think it looks really interesting, and everyone who's played it says it's really, really fucking cool. Addie Pie says, who wants the sappy rom-com crap talking about Lost Records? I do. I like all kinds of games. I'm not a fucking, single-celled organism that can only like one thing. This is day one as well. I don't know anything about it. I don't really care about it. It's not my cup of tea, but it's day one. That's nice to see. Then we got into this. This is called, they're bringing Armored Core. Okay, this looked cool. This was Tides of Annihilation. It had lots of sexy women. It had lots of sexy white women. I was like, hey, Grums has nothing to complain about. There were 3 of them. The gameplay itself looks like, Lost Soul Aside, another one of those sort of generic fast Souls kind of thing. But it's got a cool look. It's got sexy ladies. So I'm curious. I'm interested. And they're sexy ladies. And they got cool camera perspectives. Like looks like there might be some platforming where we pull back the camera and she's going up around this cylinder and stuff. And it seems like it's going to be a little bit more than just combat. So I don't know much about this yet. Maybe it's more like a Devil May Cry structure, but I'm interested. I'm very interested in learning more about this game here called Tides of Annihilation. Look at that. I like that. And then we got another blonde lady, but I think she's the bad guy, but that's okay. But yeah, there is also a big sense of genericism. Kevin says, I'll be honest, these games and their art style blur together. Yeah, there is a generic aspect to this. But I think because it looks like it's more than just combat and it also has sexy ladies, I'll give it a look. I don't think it's like Bayonetta though. I don't think it's a Bayonetta thing. I don't think it's that much about, I mean, just from looking at it, it seems like it's more than really all in on the combat only. It seems like it's more exploration and stuff, but I don't know. Then we had a couple of good games back to back, all of these third party. We had something called Metal Eden, which I thought looked pretty cool. Metal Eden is, it's like some sci-fi fucking thing. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be good or not, but there you go. That was decent. Not bad. Then they showed this game, Mind's Eye, which is from one of the early GTA guys. And I think this looks really cool. It definitely doesn't look like the most blisteringly brilliant AAA game in the world, but I like the tone of it. I like that you've got this kind of racing, Fast and the Furious action movie feel with kind of a sci-fi future feel. I think that's really neat. And so I definitely want to know more about this. You can flying, you're shooting missiles at buildings, you've got car chases. It's almost got like a Terminator 2 kind of thing going on in terms of its tone. And then they show us a little more in a second. Let's see. I think we see. Here's this guy. He looks like somebody. Oh, he looks like Roy Kent from Ted Lasso. Fuck. Okay, then we go and see, you got this kind of cool, like, modern day shootouts in the streets, but then it gets into Blade Runner shit. So I like that flavor. I like that idea. So I'm interested in that. And then they close with the George Soros game. I don't know if it's a spiritual sequel, if it's set in the world of Returnal, but it's Housemarque's new game, comes out next year. I don't know if that guy's patch ties him into the world of Returnal because I don't remember. I hope very much that these guys are able to make this game more user-friendly because I thought Returnal was great, but it was tuned terribly. And if you're a goddamn fucking executive at Sony and you let these guys do that fucking shit again, and you take a goddamn gravy train of a game and they fuck it up, going, no, it's got to be roguelike. It's got to be blisteringly hard. No, don't be fucking stupid, Sony. Make a mode for those people. They are not the majority of your audience. All you have to do is look at the sales of Returnal and you'll know that. Okay? Look. Here's what you guys thought. 29, okay, only 10% of you guys thought. I'll end the poll. Returnal was too hard for you, says a cab. It's too hard for most people. We had 10% of you guys gave it an A. 20% of you guys gave it a B. 29% of you guys gave it a D. 39% of you guys gave it a C, the majority. If you go over to Keeley's poll, let's see if his audience is like you guys. Pretty much, well, almost. 8% gave it an A. 25% gave it a B. A D was the majority at 36, and then C at 30-ish, 29.5. So, it was fine, it's hard to know. There was a lot of third-party stuff, or you don't know how much of that's going to be exclusive. I don't think this was a particularly strong show for these guys. I think there's definitely some good games. Like I think there's two ways to look at this show. If you look at this show and you say, I have a PlayStation, is there going to be stuff to play on my PlayStation? I think the answer is yeah, of course. Don't worry, you're good. You haven't wasted your money. But I think if you look at this show and go, did this show plant a flag for PlayStation and going, these motherfuckers are back with original games that you can only play on PlayStation that are either technical showpieces, gameplay showpieces, anything like that? No. And I think that's, and now we have to hear people online, I'm sure, going, oh, well, this was a third-party thing for the most part. You have to wait. Trust me, I have rumors that they in 3 months will be getting more of a first-party showcase. And maybe we will. But these guys are nuts, man. Sony, listen. They're doing a dumb, terrible job when it comes to hyping the audience up. You are. I don't care. You hate PlayStation, Jaffe. You're salty. I'm not salty. I just like what I like. And right now, Sony seems to be the most boring first-party content out there. I'm not saying they don't have some amazing shit going on behind the scenes. I'm sure they do. They're brilliant people over there. But, Jesus, guys, fucking, dazzle me, surprise and delight me. Fuck. Make me interested. Make me want to go, I can't wait for that. Come on, you gotta agree. That wasn't a very impressive show as it relates to that, trying to get people excited. It was a great show if you're like, hey, is there going to be more games? Yeah, you'll be fine. That's what I would say. All right.